Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to Third Man in the Ring. So if you like my content, share it. Tell your friends to subscribe on YouTube, Ref Popeye Ray or Third Man in the Ring. Today I got another awesome interview. You know I like positive, motivating stories. Well, today, this is it. Essay to Master Jefe. This guy's got a heavy testimony from Naval to the Navy. And man, he's done it, bro. And this is why you kids, you youngsters out there, oh, I can't do it. No, he did it. You could do it, brother. And I hope you like his testimony. It's awesome. If you guys want to get his book, it's on Amazon. I'm a truck driver, so I got the audio one that I could listen to. But check it out, Ra Ramos, Essay to Master Jefe. Check it out, guys. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, boxing and MMA fans from around the world. Introducing from Bassett, California, the third man in the ring, Popeye Ray.
Raul, talk to me, man. How you doing today? How's your day going so far, brother?
It's a great day, brother. Nice and shiny outside.
That's
a little
right,
warm,
right.
But it's all good, brother. Good day.
Hey, Raul, you got a beautiful home, brother.
Thank
beautiful,
you, brother.
Man. And this is what motivates me. And again, guys, I'm 60 years old, man. And his book, when I was listening to it in the truck, it inspired me, brother.
Wait a minute. You're 60 years old, brother? There's no way you're 60.
Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal, brother.
I love it. I mean, I'm 45, brother, but I can't wait to be 60 and look like you, bro. Yeah. Straight up, 100. I want your genes.
There you go. There you go. So, Raul, what's your life today, right now, as we're talking?
Well, right now, brother, so since I retired from the Navy in March of 2022, so my goal was to give back to the community, specifically at-risk youth. So I was targeting inner city schools, programs, juvenile halls, and so much so the juvenile hall in San Diego picked me up and they said, hey, we like what you're doing. Let's sign a contract. And so we stood up a leadership academy. I tag team with the Office of Education in San Diego and the probation office. And we set up a leadership academy for the youth where we teach them life skills, facilitate all kinds of courses for them. We did a book club, run club, all kinds of good stuff. So just paying my blessings forward, brother. I also took on some school. I was a full-time student. Just finished my last class last week, achieving a degree in business. Wow. So I hope to do something with that soon. And
mind you, Florencia, you know what I mean? Who would have thought?
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
Who would have thought, man?
Yeah, and just hanging out with my family, brother, catching up with, making up for lost time with my family.
So, real quick, Raul, how do we get your book?
My book can be found on almost every platform, brother. Google is your friend. You can simply Google the title, Essay to Master Jefe. You can find it on almost every platform in ebook format, paper book format, audiobook, including Amazon, Barnes and Noble,
that's what I got,
and so forth.
When I'm a troquero, Holmes, and I was listening to it. I ain't gonna lie, at first I like, you know what? He's a homeboy. And then as it went on, I was like, wow. Couple of tear-jerking moments there, bro. You know, I had issues with my mom as well, and a couple of tear-jerking, but I really encourage you. And you know what, guys? It's not so much about the Chicanos. Hey, black, Mexican, white, Asian. This is a very inspirational story and an awesome testimony. I mean, we all know life has its ups and downs, but at this point, you literally came from the ground up, bro.
I appreciate it. Total blessing in the sky for sure, brother. The man above, 100%. You know, I've always been faith-driven. My mother and my father always instilled that in me. And, you know, here I am. Thank goodness, brother.
So let's just say somebody wants to ask you to come talk at the halls or at the schools. How can they get a hold of you, bro?
First and foremost, they have to reach out to my management team, brother. Shout out to my management team.
Who's that?
Maddie and Pablito. They can find their information in my bio, on my Instagram, on my social media platforms. Simply click into my bio. You'll find them, reach out to them, and we'll set something up, send something up and make it happen, brother.
Awesome. And your Instagram is what?
Is Essay to Master Jefe, one word.
Yeah. Hear that? Essay to Master Jefe.
One word.
That's awesome, bro. So real quick, I don't want to dig into his book so much, guys, because I want you to support him. But with that said, how did it start, bro? Well, how did Raul start?
Yeah.
Just give me bits and pieces, Raul.
Yeah,
I don't
for
want to
sure.
steal from your book, Holmes.
Yeah, no worries, brother. Well, I'll go back from the
You don't mind if I call you Holmes?
Nah, not at all.
You know what, Raul?
Homies, brother.
That's right. Because you know what, Raul? You inspire me, but you're still a Florencia.
That's
you
right.
You still are, Holmes.
We're going to be homies forever, homie.
That's right, eh?
Straight up, 100.
So how did it start, bro?
Well,
quick.
Yeah, for me, going back a little bit, you know, my parents were both from Mexico, immigrant parents. They came over here, same struggles, every other parent from Mexico.
Are you fluent in Spanish?
I am fluent in Spanish.
Wow.
Spanish was my first language, brother. I learned English when I was 5 years old. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out English, but you know.
White for it, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and then we grew up in the inner city, my sister and I, with my father and my mother. And, you know, as most inner city kids grow up in the home, it's sometimes broken, gang infested. We went through all those struggles. Came to a point when my father left, and that's when things started going downhill. You know, once that father figure left, you know, I was searching for that family figure, that mentor that I needed, and I found it right outside of my door in the apartments that we lived in the gang infested hood, and the homies were there.
And you know what? Let's be honest, bro. The homeboys they're some of them can be loving, some of them can be very encouraging. And let me jump ahead to now. A solid homeboy, and tell me if I'm wrong, and you could disagree with me. A solid homeboy will want best for you. A solid homeboy will say when you're doing good, congrats, Holmes. You know what I mean?
100%. I call those the real ones.
That's right.
Those are the real ones that want to see you succeed, that want to see you do better, regardless of what their situation is.
I was just gonna say that.
You know, because there's a lot of homies that want to do well and want to join the military or have a career, but they can't. Not so much so because of their past, you know, the felonies, you know, the gang tats, the drug addictions. But those that praise us and want us to do well, those are the real ones.
Exactly. So when did you exactly get into Florencia?
Yeah. So at the age of 10, I started hanging out in the Huntington Park area where my father lived at the time. And then I met two homeboys from Florencia at the time. And they brought me along to South Central Los Angeles into the Florence district. At the age of 11, that's when I got jumped in, got the gang tats, and all the way up until I was 20, I was active in the streets during the 90s era, brother.
Wow, that was deep. That was heavy at those times, bro.
Yeah, 90s era, I mean, that's when it was extremely active, brother, right? I mean, everywhere and anywhere you went, it was on and cracking, right? You chunked them up everywhere. Like you couldn't go to the liquor store, you couldn't hop on a bus. Everywhere and anywhere you went, you were chunking them up at a minimum. Crack epidemic era as well.
Yeah, that was real bad.
Right? There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in those days.
That's an ugly drug, brother.
Yeah, and I'm not glamorizing that one whatsoever, but what's real is real. And it was, I'll tell you what, it was almost like a third world country out there, brother. Lawless.
Yeah.
Total blessing to be here today.
Yeah, I was busted in youth authority with a few dudes from Florencia, and then I went to prison, had a gang of dudes from Florencia there, you know what I mean? But that's why I say that a vario is a vario, but that's a righteous old school vario, eh? So when you got into the hood, you know, things, again, we don't want to dig so much, take away from your book. So then when did you start saying, you know what, my life's not really going, you know?
Yes, brother.
Or did you always realize it wasn't the right thing, it wasn't the right move?
In my mind, you know, I was gonna do it forever, brother. That was my mindset back then, to be real.
Figure that was your life, huh?
That was it. That was my profession. I was gonna gangbang to the end. I was gonna ride it till the wheels fell off. But I got a blessing in the sky when I was 18 years old, brother, and my daughter was born.
Oh, okay.
So she was the blessing, and at that point in my life, you know, a lot of the homeboys were getting caught up, doing time, you know, getting shot at, getting paralyzed, getting killed, getting addicted to the same drugs we were selling. So a whole bunch of stuff was happening. And then my daughter was born. I was like, man, I got to do something for this little girl that I brought into this world. You know, I want to do for her what I didn't have, you know, coming up. I want to do everything in my power to be a man, to be a real gangster and provide for her. And as I started looking around more and more, again, it was getting worse by the day, brother.
Yeah.
And I was still active up until the age I was 20. And I was sitting in the hood again, reflecting on life, like, damn, how did I make it this far, first of all? And now I got to really do something before I become a statistic like a bunch of the homies, you know what I mean?
And you know what, Ra, it's still bad. And
100%. It's still
out
active
there,
out there. You know, different culture,
Yeah, different style,
different
little bit.
style, but it's the same thing, brother. You know, same thing's active, as many hoods out there still are. So, but yeah, same thing on the same old block under the same tree. And at that point, brother, I went to the recruiting station in Los Angeles. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my best homeboy, nobody.
And let me interrupt.
Yeah.
In the book, well, again, I was listening. That's when I got really deeper into it. Tell them about how you got the pass for the tattoos, bro.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. So
That in itself was like a major leap.
for sure. Yeah. So when I went through the recruiting process, I sat down with the recruiter. I shared my story with the recruiter. And then they sent me upstairs to talk to the commanding officer of the recruiting station there, because I needed permission from higher authority to even join, because I had gang-related tattoos, because I was affiliated with a gang. So I remember going upstairs and they're like, hey, stand here at attention right next to the door. And in my mind, I was like, what does stand at attention mean? I didn't know anything about I was like standing, my head tilted back a little bit. But they're like, no. So they squared me away,
But how were you feeling at the moment? Were you like, this ain't gonna happen, or where it is?
Honestly, brother, I was kind of doubting it. As soon as they said, oh, you got to go upstairs, I already kind of had this doubt in my mind and in my heart and my soul. I was like, damn, this is gonna be it. They're gonna tell me no. But they squared me away. They showed me what a stand at attention means. And I walked in there and there was this woman in there, and I looked at her and she was like dressed in her officer uniform, sat me down. We started having a conversation. She had this very thick, like country accent. And I started telling her my story, how I was part of a gang, but I'm changing my life. And I have a daughter that I want to provide for. I need an opportunity. And she kind of looked at me like, what is all this gang stuff you're talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. But I'm going to give you an opportunity, she told me. She looked at me just like that. I'm going to give you an opportunity. Don't disappoint me.
Yeah.
And I told her, ma'am, I won't disappoint you. I promise you. A blessing from that is I found her again in 2008, later in my career when I made chief.
How many years apart was that?
So that was, so I joined in 98. So about 10 years later,
wow,
I found her. I was in my chief uniform. She was already retired. She was in Monterey, California on the Navy base there. I tracked her down, and as soon as I saw her, the tears start flowing. She hugs me. She knew who I was right away. I told her, I told you I wouldn't disappoint you. Amen. And sure enough, thank goodness she gave me that opportunity that saved my life to allow me to provide for my family, brother. Total blessing.
Wow. And I'm telling you guys, this is why you need to get the book or hear it. It just, again, when I was listening to that part, it really dug me, it brought me in, you know what I mean? That was a very motivating story, that part.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
So going into the Navy now, another part that caught me is, because my son tells me, my son was in the military and I have another son in there. He says they kind of gangbang in there, Holmes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, especially even back then in 98 when I joined, you got a lot of kids from the inner city.
No cameras at this time either.
Exactly. No cameras, none of that. So none of this social media stuff. Yeah. So you have, a lot of people from the inner city that are joining. So they joined the military, it was a lot easier to join back then.
And back then, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes the judge would give you that option. Am I right?
Exactly. That's right.
So you had gang mentality homies as well as the African Americans and even the Güeros would go in with that gang mentality. And it never crossed my mind until you hit me with that. And please tell that little bit of story about that real quick.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was my first deployment, literally my first deployment where we're going to be on the ship and go away overseas for a little bit. And right away, man, I was walking through the mess halls where we eat. And, I got the mad dog. There was a little crowd there. Yeah. They were mad dogging me. I already knew what it was, Looked back at them. Next thing you know, the guy's in my face and we're pushing at each other. And he's like, hey, where you from?
Straight out, huh?
Straight up on a Navy warship in the middle of the ocean. So at first I was in shock, like,
yeah.
But, the gangster came out of me.
Yeah.
That doesn't go away, especially overnight. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, there was a little pushing here and there. And we had a couple, run-ins throughout that whole deployment, but that was it. But yeah, it took a while to get that gangsterism, so to speak, out of me for a minute, being that I just joined.
Yeah, because again, when I was listening to it, I go, oh, well, now he's safe. but obviously not. Bro.
Nah, you never,
obviously
man.
not. Because I'm thinking, oh, he's in the military. Things are gonna be, roses, and this guy comes at you. Oh, he's from Texas, huh?
Yeah, he's from Texas.
Yeah. I guess some guy came at my son. He was from New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And my son's not even a gang member,
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, he kept on, Dad. I'm like, oh, just let it go, Emil.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very inspirational, bro. So again, you're in the Navy, all these ranks you went up, bro. I mean, that, again, guys, this is why I say, you people that want high schools, juvenile halls, I encourage you big time. I'd rather you talk to him than me. Mine is not even the success that you came, that you reached, bro. Because you know what? Honestly, bro, and back in my day, I wanted to join the military. The doubtful Thomas in me just didn't do it, But when I was in youth authority, I went to a military fire camp. It was in youth authority, and man, I just dug the atmosphere. I dug the structure. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you guys ever want to reach out to him and get him to talk at these schools or juvenile halls or even prisons, bro.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All they have to do, like I said, is reach out to my management team and we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. One of them is Black Widow Investigations Legal Services. Tell them Popeye Ray sent you. Their phone number is 818-599-3613. Black Widow Investigations. Hey, want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Rivera Towing. Did you know in 2023, they were the top towing service in the Inland Empire, and they serve all of Southern California. But I want to give a shout out to Rivera Towing. You need them, tell them Popeye Ray sent you. But check them out. That's going to be Rivera Towing.
We want to also thank our friends at Kelstar Roofing. Kelstar Roofing specializes in residential roofing, installing concrete roofing tiles, and composition asphalt shingles. They have been serving the Inland Empire for over 31 years. Call on Kelstar Roofing for all of your roofing needs.
So this is one of my new sponsors, Quick to Drop. This is for all you drivers that are looking to make good money. First of all, everybody wins. 92% of the money goes to the driver, 8% to Quick and Drop. Check this out, guys. So let's just say you're in San Diego and somebody needs a pallet in Los Angeles. Pallet of cement in San Diego. You bid on it, you pick up that pallet, drive it to San Diego, and there it is there, you get paid. It's on the app, Quick to Drop. Check it out, guys. Check it out. And again, if somebody needs a ride, you're in San Diego, somebody needs a ride to LA. You bid on it, 92% of that money goes to the driver, 8% goes to Quick and Drop. Please check this out. This is one of my new sponsors, Quick to Drop. Check that out, guys.
Yeah.
So you got to these, how many ranks did you get?
Yeah, brother. So I was blessed to make it to the highest enlisted rank in the military. So there's two types of ranks. So we have enlisted ranks and then we have officer ranks. Each rank has different paths and different rank structures. The enlisted ranks is what I was. So you start off as an E1, E for enlisted, to the highest, which is E9. It wasn't an easy path. And then you have the officers ranks where you start off as an O1 and you go up to O10. The officers, these guys are the educated guys, they lead at the highest levels, commanding officers of ships, they're pilots. And then the enlisted guys, we're the technical experts. We start from the ground up, so on and so forth. But I was blessed to make it to the highest enlisted rank in the Navy, which is E9, Master Chief. What a blessing in the sky, brother. I remember the day that my name was called for it like it was yesterday.
Wow, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So today, what are you doing? Have you spoken at any halls or anything lately?
Yes, brother. So what I'm doing today, like I said, I go and speak to youth in inner city schools and programs and the juvenile halls, and they listen, brother. They need more people like us, right? That have walked in their shoes, that look like them. They need those credible messengers, brother. I mean, the people who are in there right now, God bless them, they're doing God's work. I don't take nothing away from them, but they tend to listen a little bit more to people who are, again, cut from the same cloth as them. So again, we need more like us to get out there, brother. They need us. I can't do this by myself. You can't do it by yourself. But yeah, just I go in there and I talk to them about the dangers of obviously joining a gang, drugs, fast money, and I also talk about believing in yourself.
Yes.
Going back to what you said, as I moved up in the ranks, what motivated me to keep going and make it to the top was a few things. Number one was my kids, right? My two kids, I wanted everything and anything I could give to them, and making it to the top was going to help me with that. The second piece of that was there's a lot of haters, brother, right? There's always going to be a lot of haters, and they doubt you. You're not going to amount to anything. So I always kept them right here on my shoulder, brother,
That's right.
Talking in my ear, and that motivated me to say, you know what, I'm going to keep going. And to make it to, we call it the 1% club when you make it to the Master Chief level, the E9 level, because 1% of the United States Navy makes it to that rank. So for example, right now we have about 350,000 maybe Navy sailors. I don't know, maybe less, plus or minus, but 1% of that makes it. That's a hell of an achievement, but I didn't make it there by myself. I had a lot of great mentors in my career. Yeah. I had a lot of great people that worked with me, for me, supported me. I had a chip on my shoulder, and my kids kept me motivated, brother. And the man above, 100%.
That's right. That's right. And I'm not going to make this racial, but for the young raza, how many of them Chicanos were up there with you?
There was a handful, brother. I could say a handful. I can probably count on one hand that I've experienced, that I've seen. Yes, brother.
Because you know what? A lot of our, and this is the older generation, even older than you, again, I'm 60 years old. A lot of our older generation were very negative, Sometimes our raza tends to be the most haters of our own raza. But part of me thinks it's more of the culture. Oh, that guy, hey, look at mom, he got a new car. They gave it to him, And they don't think what they're saying. But you know what? Let me quote Michael Jackson. If you want to change it, start with the man in the mirror, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Because, I have 7 children, and I would like to think I've always told them when somebody has something good, be happy for them. And if you want it, work hard for it.
That's right. I mean? Yeah, no one's going to give you anything nowadays. Exactly. You got to go out and get it, 100%.
That's right. That's right.
And, the new generation nowadays, and this is what I tell them, they have so many resources nowadays, brother. I wish that the resources they have today, we had them back then.
Yeah.
So today there's so many resources out there, so many programs, there's counselors, there's teachers, there's so many things that they can seize those opportunities to help themselves so they can go on and live a better life other than just the hood. But I get it. We get that mentality, brother. When you're young, you're dumb. You don't even see past your nose, brother. All you know is the hood, and all you see is the hood.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And that's why we need to come in credible messengers who've been there and done that, who are doing well now. We need to get in there and talk to these youngsters, right? Again, we're not going to save them all. I get that. I understand that. It's going to go in one ear and come out the other for a lot of them. I get that. But if we save that one, brother, and we save that one life, then we win.
That's right.
So that's what we got to do, brother.
And they might even grow older or even motivate somebody else from you telling them.
Exactly.
It's sad, bro. You and me both know there's some youngsters out there, they don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
Their main goal is to be a drop-down gangster. And you know what? All I say to them is, keep your gangs to gangs. Don't mess with innocent victims. Again, I don't want to indulge too much from your book.
Yeah.
One thing that I dug that you said in your book is you didn't like it that innocent victims were being they were vulnerable during the killings.
Caught up in the crossfire. Yes.
And that's what I keep trying to tell some of these youngsters that I speak to. You know what? You don't want to hear it? All right, homie. You know what? More power to you. But all I do ask you is, keep it to another gang member. Don't get no innocent kid involved. If you feel you got to go do something stupid, do it to the person you're targeting. And in your mentality, if it's gangs, so be it. But don't get his little brother, his mom, his dad, or somebody walking down the street. You know what I mean?
Nah, I'm with you on that for sure.
You know what I mean? Because again, there's some youngsters, I don't want to hear it, man. You know? I mean, at one point, I'm sure you were like that at one point. Again, I don't want to take too much from the book, and I'm trying to tiptoe around it. Because again, guys, please get his book, man. Sometimes you're just on that path, like, I don't want to hear it.
That's
I don't want to hear it. And sometimes you got to wait till you fall, get hurt, your best friend get killed, or or a blessing.
Yeah.
Your child.
Exactly.
Your child.
But you've definitely got to wake up before it's too late, right?
Yes.
Because how many times do we hear those stories, right? The homeboys doing life, right? Doing life for the hood. And then you hear that pain in their voice, bro, when you're on the phone with them.
Yeah.
You feel that sorrow. You can feel it, bro, in your soul, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? And then it's too late. Or you're 6 feet under. And then who suffers, right?
Yeah. Your loved ones.
Your loved ones are there to pick up the broken pieces, right? Your loved ones are not just one family, the other family too, because if the other person gets caught up, then they lose that person as well.
Yeah.
So it's a vicious cycle, brother, for sure.
Yeah. All our actions interact with somebody in our family, whether it's a father, mother, sister, daughter, son, and our actions create, the atmosphere, you know what I mean?
100%.
And this is why, again, positive role models like yourself, brother, that is just an awesome inspiration. And so let's go back to the military.
Yes.
You're in there. When did you decide that it was time to retire?
Well, to be honest, brother, I was hoping to do 30 years.
Yeah.
So I was at my 23-year mark.
And isn't it 20 years is automatic retirement?
Yes, if you do your 20 years and you achieve a rank, yes, you could retire at 20 years with benefits. Absolutely, yes.
Pension as well, right?
Yes, exactly.
Can't go wrong with pension, guys.
Right. If you don't know what a pension is, that means you're going to get paid for the rest of your life, right?
That's right.
And I tell the young homies, the hood is not going to give you a pension.
That's right.
Straight up. Let's just be honest. We're keeping it real 100, right?
No pension in the barrio.
Yeah,
That's a good way of putting it.
Straight up. And not just the military. There's a lot of corporations, companies, organizations that are going to give you a pension. So something to think about for sure.
Those are rare to come by.
So I was at my 23-year mark, brother, and I had to make a decision. I was either going to say, yes, I'm going to go to Washington State. I was in Washington State once before in my career already. Or I was going to stick around in California, I was hoping to stay in California so I can be closer to my kids.
To your kids.
My son is at a critical age. He's now 15. And my daughter is, she's grown, but she was going through some things. And I wanted to be there for them close by and not far away again. Right? Yeah, granted, it was a flight away. But anyhow, so I had to make that decision. Yes, I know joining the military and joining the Navy, just like everyone else, we know that if the Navy says you're going to go or the military says you're going to go, you're going to go. I get that. I understand that. But I also know that people can make moves, right? There was a job opportunity for me in Coronado Island in San Diego, California, and I applied for it. And for whatever reason, I got the big no. You're going to Washington State regardless, or put your paperwork in and retire. And so it was a kind of bittersweet moment for me, brother, because again, I felt like I had 6 more years, at least 6 or 7 more years to give back to the Navy, to give them some leadership and some more mentorship and take care of business. But at the same time, I was like, man, I got to make the decision. And the decision was to stay close to my kids, and I'm out. So again, I left on a bittersweet note, but I love the Navy, man. The military has done so much for my kids, myself. I can go on and on what the Navy has done for me. I'm extremely grateful for that opportunity. Again, bittersweet note on leaving, but I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that it all worked out that way, brother.
And you know what, Raul? And I'm telling you, fans, material things aren't going to make you happy unless you got them on a legit note. And because if you get it on drug money or anything like that, it's going to be taken like that. But I know you're not going to brag on it. Got a gorgeous home, bro.
Oh, well, thank you. Well,
gorgeous home.
I'll give this is my lady's home, so I give it to her, brother. Thank you, though.
There you go. I know you still got to pay bills.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
100.
Yeah. Let me ask you something a little personal. How's the relationship with your kids?
That's a great question. Thank you, brother. Thank goodness. First of all, we broke the cycle with both of my kids. Thank goodness. Their mother and I, we broke the cycle with them. They're not involved in gangs or drugs, never got caught. Thank God, right? And of course, that took us staying in their ears, staying on them. And I get that doesn't always work. I understand that. But we were blessed to break that cycle with them. So I have a great relationship with my son. Like I said, he's 15, just started high school last year. And, I see him any opportunity I can. We have a great relationship.
Was that always a fear, though, Ra?
100%, brother.
Man,
100%.
Because he's got your DNA, bro. So obviously, something's got to, if he sees a gang member, it's almost like my dad was there. I could do that too. You know what I mean?
100%. It was a fear that I had that he would go that way, and with my daughter as well. But like I said, we stayed on them, brother,
Yeah.
and we stayed in their ear, and we showed them pictures. They knew my story, all of it.
bro.
You know what I mean? So they saw firsthand, like, whoa, this is not the life I want to live. You know, and we just continue to drill them, their mother and I, over and over again, because their mother kind of knew about that life as well, right? Because,
Well,
you know,
she was with you, bro.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was with me, and, you know, I met her actually in the Florence district. So, so she knew about that life. So again, her and I together, we broke that cycle, and I have a great relationship with my daughter. With my daughter, I love her to death. She to this day, you know, she still drives me crazy sometimes, but I love her to death. She's been on a roller coaster ride, but that's okay. I was gone a lot during my military time.
It's life, you know.
But she's doing great now. She's going to school. She's working with kids with disabilities, doing God's work for sure. So I have a great relationship with both of them. Thank God.
You think your boy or your daughter are gonna shoot for the military? Is it ever came up yet?
I don't think so. I asked my son for sure. No, nor my daughter. Not for them. No. Hopefully he learns a trade or something of that sort. So yeah, not right
And
now.
you know, going back to how you say that you showed your son and your daughter pictures, and I'm not, you know, every parent has their own way, but
Yes.
I know some real heavy ex-gangbangers that don't talk like that around my son, don't tell him anything about my past.
Yeah.
And you know what? Their child, not all of them, but I can name 4 guys from my barrio. Oh, don't talk about the neighborhood. Don't tell anybody about what I used to do. And their kids came out to be gang members.
Yeah, that's a tough
And
situation.
I personally didn't hide anything from my boys. I have 5 sons, 2 girls, and I didn't hide anything. And every time I seen when homeboys would come around or I'd go around and I had my kids, I would tell them, that might look cool, but look at what they have to deal with.
That's 100.
And thank God my 5 boys have stood away from it. I got 1 daughter, she kind of, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
I got 1 in the military, 1's a police officer, and the other 3, I have 1 a professional fighter. You know what I mean? So,
Stuff.
I mean, that's something to think about, guys. And again, look at Raul, the man he is now. And he admit right here that you told your son about your history.
Yes.
And that's either gonna, I don't want that, Dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I would add to that is there's going to be a lot of parents that say, hey, I did the exact same thing, but they still went in that direction. And that does happen. And I understand that. I'm not saying my situation is the end all be all. What I would say to that is don't give up on them. Don't give up on them ever, right? If they end up getting caught up in gangs, or getting caught up in jail, don't give up on them, all right?
A lot of prayer,
stay on
man.
them. A lot of prayer. Don't give up on them. Do everything and anything in your power to give them the resources they need. Don't give up on them. And that's just my 2 cents there, brother.
There you go.
Yeah. I think one crucial thing that I did while I was still an active gang member that helped me, that opened up a lot of opportunities in the future, is I stuck with school. Even though I was kicked out of every school that I went to an alternative school, LA County alternative school, that allowed me to get my school credits to achieve that diploma. So what I'm trying to say is I stuck to school regardless of what I was doing, because my mother instilled that in me, my father did, and I knew in my mind, in my heart, in my soul that it was going to open up an opportunity for me later on down the line in my life. Yeah. And sure enough, when I went to that recruiting station, one of the requirements was a high school diploma or GED, right? And boom, I checked that box.
I remember that part too.
That's right. So, you know, I get it, right? Youngsters are like, oh, school, and I get it, school's not for everyone. All right. And if school's not for you, that's good too. Well, go learn a trade. Right. Again, they got all these resources for these youngsters nowadays. Take advantage of these resources, seize them. I get it. You can't just get out overnight, right? If you're trying to find your way out the hood, it doesn't happen overnight. I get it. But you know.
But you have to make an effort.
Exactly.
It's got to be an effort.
Little by little, start distancing yourself a little bit, right? Getting involved with school programs, inner city, programs. There's so many things. Like I said, we can go on and on.
Yeah.
But slowly but surely, it could happen. And I get it. Everyone has a different situation, and that doesn't apply to everyone. But if it does, slowly but surely, one day at a time. If I can succeed in life, if you can succeed in life, so can they, brother.
That's right. It just takes work, guys. It just takes work. So, Ra, I always ask these questions towards the end of my interviews. What kind of food do you like? What's your food to go to?
My number one food is mariscos, brother.
Mariscos,
Seafood, Mexican
right.
seafood, bro.
A fish taco fanatic
Yeah,
too,
or
bro.
cóctel de camarón, or or a mixta tostada, or a tostada de camarón. I love all of it, brother. Oysters, fresh oysters.
Yeah, there
That's
you
my
go, there you
go-to
go.
for sure.
And how about music?
Music, brother, I like all types of music, but I'm old school like you, brother. I love my oldies, my old school rap.
I even started listening to country, a little bit of country.
There's maybe one or two, three country songs that I can deal with, brother. For sure. Who's your favorite boxer, bro?
Me. Canvas back Corona.
Love it.
Love it. You know what, brother? My favorite boxer from back in the day was Alexis Arguello.
Oh, okay.
Alexis, he's a little bit before your time.
Yeah.
But just a great fighter, bro.
Love it.
That was my next question for you.
Oh, brother, I remember growing up, man. Mike Tyson, brother, every time that guy got in the ring, bro, like it was total destruction, man. Bro. He was a beast, man. He would chunk him up, and next thing you know, the other homeboy's on the ground. So I used to love watching that. I remember, people would have the fights, and I would just kind of sneak in and try to watch it. But every time I was amazed. And then, of course, all the, the Mexican fighters. Mr. Vargas from out in Ventura County. He's from Ventura.
I interviewed him, man.
Oh, is that right? Oh, good stuff, bro. I think his sons are boxing.
Yes, all three of them.
Yeah. Canelo, obviously, right, represents. Oscar De La Hoya during his time, you know. And then, of course.
that was your era.
Yeah, for sure. And then Mr. Chavez, of course, bro.
Can't go wrong with
Cesar
Chavez.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, brother.
How about sports team? Baseball, football?
Oh, brother, anything LA or West Coast of California. Football for sure.
I'm a California
Raiders.
guy.
Yeah.
What?
I'm a Raiders fan, brother. Let me guess. LA Rams fan.
So we know Raul's not perfect. He's Raiders. I'm a LA Rams.
Okay,
but
I'll give you that, bro.
I knew there was a downfall in this interview, but hey, it's all right, bro. Raiders are my third team, bro.
Okay, all right.
But I'm like you, anything California.
Yeah, Dodgers, of course. Dodgers, can't go wrong with the Dodgers. 100%.
Even my Angels, bro. They won the other day, and it's almost like they won a World Series or something against the Dodgers.
You're not perfect either, brother.
But so Ra, I just want to thank you for coming on. Please, one more time, tell them about your book, how to get it, how to get a hold of you, your Instagram. Tell them, bro.
Thank you, brother. And thank you once again for the interview, brother.
Yeah, man.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you, brother. And yeah, they can find me again on every social media platform, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm even on LinkedIn. The handle is Ese to Master Jefe, one word, which is my book title. My book can be found on almost every platform, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, an ebook, paperback, and also an audiobook. Thanks, brother.
This is it, guys. Very inspirational, very motivating. Couple tear jerkers in there, you know what I mean? So I thank God I was in my truck by myself. I didn't want nobody to see me tear up, man. But hey, Raul, thank you again, brother, and I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, brother.
I wish you the best, bro.
Likewise, brother. Gracias.
God bless, bro. All right, guys.